Hey guys, it's Kaylor. Welcome to the YouTube channel. This is week 7 of the Weekly Design Challenge. The Weekly Design Challenge is a challenge I host on my Discord server. There is a sign up link for that down in the description. And if you'd like to know more information, I'll link a video on the screen now, and that will tell you all about this challenge and how to participate. And there's also some details in the Discord as well. This week, I've picked a handful of designs to showcase and critique in this video. This week's theme was to create a music app, either a mobile version or a desktop version, it didn't matter. You could also create as many screens as you wanted, as long as you included the music player screen. The first submission for this week is submitted by Jiggle, Abdul. And again, if I mispronounce anyone's names, I apologize. So this one is an app submission, and there's 2 screens to this one. Starting off here on the left, I like how you have the album nice and centered, and then you have the previous and the next albums there, so you can kind of see what's coming up next. I also like how you have the audio wave, whatever you want to call this, down below here. That's pretty cool, and it looks like this is also kind of like the playhead for the music player, which is interesting. That's a unique way to do that. I like that. And then you have the standard buttons down here. For a critique on this one, I'm not sure why you have this kind of playhead if you're going to have this one. That's what this looks like, at least to me. So if you're going to have this one, I would just stick with this one and put the timestamps here and here. And this font is a little bit too small, and so I would suggest never going below like 10 pixels or 10 point font as like a tertiary font. I wouldn't go below that because anything below that would be hard to see on a phone. So other than that, I feel like you may need like a back icon up here or something to get out of this player screen. But it looks good, so thank you for submitting it. Jiggle has an Instagram link down in the description. This next one is submitted by Offic, Sagav. On this one, on the first screen here in the center, I like how the album artwork kind of blends in with the white background. I think that's very nice. As far as the main color you're using, which is like this tealish blue color, I think it's a little bit too loud for UI UX being the primary color. So I would consider switching it to a blue or toning it down somehow. On this left screen over here, I like the navigation. You got the search and the browse drop down. And then you got the top albums. As far as the genre section goes, I feel like you could have done this a little bit more visually, so you could have done some cards or something. I'm not a huge fan of these underlines right underneath this running off the side of the page. On the right side app here, I think the same thing applies. The underline going off to the side. You could maybe use some white space to separate these songs out, or something like that. You could also give some more information here about the songs, like how long they are, what the rating is, instead of just having the play icon down here at the bottom. And one final thing is on this playhead, you might want to put the times, so where the time is currently at in the song and what it ends at. Would be nice for the user to know. So thank you for submitting this, Offic. Offic has an Instagram link down in the description. Moving on, this next one was submitted by Tiihove, I think is how you pronounce that. On this screen, I like how the album has the previous and the next on here, but I would suggest maybe capping it at 3. Showing 5 feels like a little much. But I really like how you're using this purple and pink gradient, especially with the waves to kind of show the song blasting as the song goes on. And I also like how you have the time bar down here at the bottom just slightly different. You've shifted the gradient over just slightly so that you can actually tell the difference between these waves and the time bar. Then you've got the typical navigation buttons down here at the bottom. You've got a download option and a more option. That's good. And then even the favorites and the navigation. So overall, the layout looks really nice. I like the dark theme. The other thing that I would suggest is removing the album in the background here. Just having that in the background kind of takes away from the cleanness of this app. I think it would look really good without it, but if you want to keep it, that's up to you. Maybe just tone the opacity down like 10% or so. I just feel like it's a little distracting, especially because these waves look really nice and clean. And I think that contrasts that a little too much. So that's my critique for you. I hope you found that helpful. Tiihove, if you want a social media link in the description, make sure you contact me on Discord. This next one was submitted by Shourya, and this one has 3 screens. So starting off on the left, I really like these cards over here. I like the size of these. It's a nice style of card. One thing on this screen is this color. I would honestly just switch that to this color for a few reasons. First off, it's a little bright. I'm not a huge fan of this tealish green, but also you're using this blue color throughout on all the other screens. On this section, I feel like the font right here is a little small, and this might be the same font that you're using here, down here, and over here. And all those I would never go below 10 pixels. So if this is not 10 pixels, which I don't think it is, I would try out 10 for a tertiary size font. And then if that is still too small to read, maybe try like 13 or 15 for a secondary size font, just because right now it's very hard to read this. As far as this screen goes over here, it looks pretty good. I think this is the next song. I would like to see how that function would actually work in the app. I believe that is the next song down there. So that would be cool to kind of like swipe up or something, or even preview it somehow. But the only other thing with this one is down here at the bottom, this kind of playhead, the time bar is very hard to see, and I'm not sure what's actually happening with that. So that's pretty much it. Just the font color here, the font size, and that. So thank you for submitting this design. And if you want a social media link in the video, make sure you reach out to me on Discord. This final one was submitted by Rowdy, Hawkish. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So on this one, there was an app design and a desktop version submitted. I'm just going to cover this one for the sake of this video. So in this one, I like how you have the square album artwork, but you have this text overlaying it that adds a nice depth to the design. I think that's pretty cool. As far as the navigation up top and how you have the playlists laid out, that looks pretty good. My first critique for you on this one is these icons down here at the bottom. One, I think they're a little too thick. It's like they have like a border on them or something to make them thicker. But first off, the positioning of them in this kind of like 6 icon grid here, it looks a little weird. So I would stick to the typical layout of having the repeat over here on the side and the shuffle here on the side, and maybe finding somewhere to put this more icon, even maybe add a heart icon in with the design as well. But that's my first thing. And the second thing is the background. Since it's so detailed, I feel like it's kind of distracting. And I'm glad you chose an album that was this detailed, because with a simpler album, this probably wouldn't have been a problem. But on this, I would probably put a black in the background and maybe lower the opacity on this, or just remove it, because this is a detailed album artwork and it is going to cause problems. And you want in design to kind of think ahead of that. So if you were designing with a simple album artwork, you might have not thought of that. So I'm glad you picked a more complex one, so that problem has already occurred, so that you can now make adjustments for it. So that's my 2 critiques for you on that. I hope you found that helpful. Rowdy has a Dribble link down in the description. Now here's some more great designs from this week. So that's it for week 7's designs. Thanks to everyone who participated or helped out in the Discord chat. So let's check out week 8's theme. Week 8's theme is a colorful landing page. This week, you can make a landing page around whatever you want, as long as you try to make it colorful. So I want to challenge you guys to pair colors together, to use gradients, and just to make it colorful and aesthetically pleasing. So matching your colors up and making good color combinations is what this week's challenge is. So creating that colorful landing page. Again, if you want a chance to be in the video, make sure you have your design submitted in the Discord by Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you guys on Saturday for that video. So if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more design-related content. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so make sure you have that notification bell on so you don't miss a video. And as always, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.